In rural Oregon, 12 counties have so far voted to leave the state to begin talks on joining the neighboring state of Idaho. Wallowa County is the most recent to back the move. Bison rancher Bob Stangel's family has lived here for generations.
Right now in the United States, there's a lot of movement for minority rights and privileges and tolerance of minorities. And I think that there's a large minority that is being left out of that discussion, and that is the conservatives.
Stangel voted to redraw Oregon's eastern border to move large rural parts of the state into Idaho, where the governor and legislative majorities are Republican. In Oregon, Democrats hold those powers.
Liberals, or Democrats for the most part, are in political control and have been for maybe the last 40 years. And the conservatives resent that, of being told continually how to live their lives.
The Greater Idaho movement is a long shot. Redrawing U.S. state borders requires approvals from both states' legislatures and the U.S. Congress. Conservative Oregonians say the non-binding votes in these central and eastern counties are as much about sending a message to lawmakers in the state capital. Retiree Elnora Cameron, also a Wallowa County resident, voted to stay in Oregon, but says she understands the frustrations fueling secessionism.
I live here. I do not want to live in Idaho under their laws, rules, and regulations. My only silver lining about this is that maybe those conversations will get the conversation that needs to happen between the west side and the east side going somehow, because this is not happening for no reason.
In the last U.S. presidential election, Republican candidate Donald Trump swept the eastern Oregon counties, but President Joe Biden won the state because most of its population lives in urban and suburban districts in western Oregon, where residents vote mostly Democratic. It's a distinction between urban and rural America that in Oregon has Republicans feeling they no longer have a voice, says political science professor Joe Lowndes.
This movement really reflects a polarization politically that's happened in the state, where the Republican Party has pushed far to the right of where it had been just a couple of decades ago. They say they have much more in common with Idaho than they have with Western Oregon across the Cascades, which they see as entirely liberal, focused on urban issues.
Republican lawmakers walked out of the state legislature on May 3rd in protest of a bill to expand access to abortion and health care for transgender people. Their boycott blocked the passage of any bills for 6 weeks. Meanwhile, the Greater Idaho movement hopes to expand support in central and eastern Oregon counties. Its campaign depends on mobilizing conservatives like Stangel to express their discontent at the ballot box, to vote for the improbable. Deborah Bloom for VOANews, Wallowa County, Oregon.